The Herdmans were the worst kids in the history of the world. They lied, stole, smoked cigars, even the girls, and talked dirty, and cussed their teachers, and took the Lord's name in vain, and set fire to Fred Shoemaker's old broken-down tool house. There were 6 of them: Ralph, Imogene, Leroy, Claudia, Ollie, and Gladys. And they went through the Woodrow Wilson School like those South American fish that strip your bones clean. They went around the town the same way, stealing things and tearing up things and whamming kids, so it was hard to get away from them. There was only one place to get away from the Herdmans: church. Church was the one place they never went.
Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, because there are no herdmans there, and Jesus loves us as we say, because he keeps them miles away.
That's my little brother, Charlie. That's what he sang when the Sunday school teacher asked him what were his favorite things about church. Charlie said,
"No herdmans."
That made the teacher mad because all the other kids said nice things about God and Jesus and good feelings. But oh, Charlie, he told the truth.
No herdmans.
Our parents.
I don't care what everybody else says. That's what I thought.
That's not a very Christian sentiment if you ask me.
But it's very practical. Charlie was black and blue all last year because he sat beside of Leroy Herdman in school.
Is Leroy the worst one?
They're all the worst one.
Then you need to just stay away from them.
I know I do. That's why I like going to church. They're not there.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
I don't want to be a shepherd. I don't want to be a shepherd this year.
Well, just tell Mrs. Armstrong you would like to be a wise man.
I don't want to be in the play at all.
Everybody's in it. Think of how I would feel sitting there on Christmas Eve and my own children not even in the Christmas pageant.
I'm always in the angel choir.
Well, maybe there won't be a Christmas pageant this year. I saw George Armstrong at the drugstore, and he said his wife fell and broke her leg. She's going to be in traction for 2 weeks and be laid up till next year.
The first of the year? They'll have to cancel Christmas.
Is she in charge of Christmas?
She directs the pageant. She runs Vacation Bible School. She's the chairperson of Christian education. Heck, I think if somebody would let her, she would preach the sermon. I feel sorry for Helen, but who's going to do all of these things? Hello?
Hello, Grace. This is Helen Armstrong.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Armstrong. How are you feeling?
Horrible. Look, I'll get straight to the point. I've asked everyone in the town, and nobody else can do it. I need you to direct the Christmas pageant.
But...
No, the other women have volunteered to do other things. You can do it. I won't take no for an answer.
I have to direct the Christmas pageant.
Does that mean I have to go?
And Grace, don't just use anybody's baby for Jesus. Get a quiet one. Better yet, get two if you can. If one turns out to be a little fussy, you can always swap them out. And you know, it's important to give everyone a chance. But you know, you got to choose that Mary character real careful. She's the mother of Jesus.
Our Christmas pageant isn't what you would call 4-star entertainment.
And do explain about the wise men and you know, the shepherds and how important they are. And I'll tell them there's no small parts, only those small actors.
It's always the same old Christmas story, the same old carols, the same old Mary and Joseph. And that's what my mother was stuck with, that and Mrs. Armstrong.
And one last thing, remind the angel choir, no earrings, no clunky shoes, no high heels. And don't let them wear that bright pink lipstick either.
My mother didn't pay much attention to Mrs. Armstrong. She said there wasn't going to be any problems.
Mrs. Armstrong, there's not going to be any problems.
Of course, my mother didn't count on the Herdmans. That was Charlie's fault.
Haley, will you give me back my lunch?
Sure, kid.
Hey, those are my Twinkies.
That's right. 2 Twinkies.
I don't care, you can have the Twinkies. I get all the dessert I want in Sunday school. I get chocolate cake, I get Twinkies, I get cupcakes, I get candy bars, I get bubble gum, I get Big Wheels.
Sunday school, huh?
Yeah.
That was the wrong thing to tell the Herdmans. And sure enough, the very next Sunday, they were in Sunday school, just in time to hear about the Christmas pageant.
What is a pageant?
It's a play.
Like on TV? What do you mean?
Well, it's about Jesus.
Everything in here is about Jesus.
Well, it's also about Mary. It's mostly about Mary.
Who's Mary?
I am. Well, probably I am. I know all the parts.
Well, Miss Alice, I'm going to be Mary in the Christmas pageant. Just wait and see.
Okay, we gotta go in talking.
A week later, my mother is in charge of the Christmas pageant, and it's the first rehearsal. She's about to cast the pageant, assign all the parts.
We're supposed to be home.
Yeah.
Hello, Mrs. Flitterwashin. Are you here to help with the Christmas pageant?
Well, I'm going to sit down here.
Yes.
Hey, well, you guys
Mrs.
wanna sit
Armstrong
down?
sent me to be
Let's
the
sit right here.
shepherd.
Okay. Let's sit here.
Shisher?
See if we can.
Okay. Come, children. Come, children. Now settle down.
Children, settle down.
Thank you, Mrs. Flitterwashin. Children, today we are going to decide who will play the main parts in the Christmas pageant. But of course, everyone will have an important part. As Mrs. Armstrong always says, there are no small parts, just small actors. Isn't that what Mrs. Armstrong always tells you?
That's what she says, but she never says what it means.
I know what it means. It means the short kids have to be in the front row of the angel choir, or nobody can see them.
Well, not exactly. It means that from the littlest baby angel, that person is just as important as Mary is.
I don't think anyone is as important as Mary.
Well, naturally, that's what Alice would think. I think Jesus is more important.
I still think it means short kids need to be in the front row.
You listen to your director, please.
Everyone is important. Mary, Jesus, even the short kids. Now, is everyone here? Judy, could you step out into the hallway and see if anyone else is coming? Now, you little children, you will be angels. So please remind your mothers that you will need bed sheets. Well, let's make room for the herdsmen. Now, what happened to Judy?
She went home. I think she got sick.
Did she say she was sick?
No, I just said, hi, Judy, and she left.
I see. Well, will someone please tell her that rehearsals are every Wednesday right after school? Everyone please plan to be here.
What if we get sick?
I think I have the sniffles.
I could get the flu.
My neighbor told me to break a leg.
Break a leg just means good luck.
You won't get sick. Of course, Mary and Joseph absolutely have to be at every rehearsal.
What if they get sick?
They won't get sick either, Elmer.
Well, Judy got sick, and we didn't even start yet.
We don't know if Judy got sick. Now, I want all of you all to think about Mary and the kind of person Mary was. Mary was quiet. She was gentle. She was kind. And the person that plays Mary needs to think and be that kind of person to play that part. Who would like to volunteer for the part of Mary? Imogene, do you have a question?
No, I want to be Mary. And Ralph here, he wants to be Joe.
I do? I does? Yeah, I does.
Oh, well, I'll just ask Mrs. King to make a list of volunteers for these parts, and then we'll decide who will play them. Ralph Herdman. Now, who else would like to play Joseph? Elmer, did you raise your hand?
No.
Just raise your hands, please. Any volunteers? Any of the shepherds?
I'll be a wise man.
What's a wise man?
Maxine, Sadie, Dina.
I'll be a wise man too.
Now, again, everyone be quiet.
Okay, now that Imogene has volunteered, Mrs. Keynes, please write that down. What other names can I put on my list? Alice, don't you want to volunteer?
No, I don't want to.
I'll be Mary. Shut up, Gladys. I'm already married.
We don't say shut up in the church. We say,
Well, wise men are usually boys. Of course, they don't have to be.
I'll be a wise man.
What's a wise man?
Oh, just be quiet and raise your hand.
Father, you can be a wise man too.
What's left to be?
Some angel.
I'll be that. What is it?
It's the angel of the Lord who brought the good news to the shepherds.
There, you do have some volunteers after all.
Hobie, would you like to be a wise man?
No. No, and I can't be a shepherd either. We're going to Philadelphia.
Why didn't you say that before?
I just now remembered.
My mother doesn't want me to be a shepherd.
Why not?
I don't know. She just said, don't be a shepherd.
Well, I'm not going to be a shepherd.
Oh, yes, you are.
I don't want to be a shepherd. Gladys heard me. It's too hard.
Well, Gladys isn't going to hit anybody. The angel of the Lord just visits the shepherds in the fields to tell them that Jesus is born.
And he hits them.
I can't be in the play, Mrs. Bradley. The hay in the manger gives me allergies.
You'll be just fine.
I can't be a shepherd. My dog ate my dad's robe, and I don't have a costume.
I'm sure we can find something for you.
I can't stay because I got homework. I mean, surgery. Rabies.
Well, you can sit there until you make up your mind.
I can't be in the play either.
You can't? Why ever not?
I think I might have the chicken pox.
Mrs. Bradley, I can't be in the play either. My science project got loose and demolished part of our neighborhood. Now the police are trying to talk to me.
Miss Bradley, the doctor said I have temporary amnesia and something else.
I have to shampoo my cat.
We're moving to Australia.
My mom washes her socks on Tuesday, so I can't be in the play either.
The play is on Wednesday, Elmer.
Wednesday's the day she dries them.
This is just ridiculous. What is wrong with all of you? I don't want to hear another word from anybody. Nobody may quit. Nobody can get sick. Now, that's all for today, boys and girls. You may go. But I expect to see everyone here Wednesday at 6:30.
Stop. Please form a single line and leave in an orderly fashion.
Wait for your mimeographs. Tell your parents I will be calling them about helping us. We'll need sewing, props, painting, maybe a policeman and a nurse.
Alice, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you raise your hand to play Mary?
I didn't dare. Imogene would have killed me. She told me. She said,
I'm gonna be Alice. I'm gonna be Mary in the Christmas pageant. And if you raise your hand or something,
Yeah.
I'm always Mary.
Yes. I think so. Check
but
with
when you
Angela.
pussy,
I think
but
so.
I'll get pussy with a stick and I'll stick it down in your ear. And I'll stick it so far nobody will ever be able to find it, and it'll sprout and it'll grow and grow and grow. And next spring, you'll have a pussy willow bush growing out of your ear, and it'll be there forever.
Oh, Alice, you don't think she'd go that far?
Yes, I do. She means it. The Herdmans are terrible. You just wait. They will do something terrible and ruin the entire pageant, and it's all your mother's fault.
Oh, here come the church ladies.
Are they supposed to go get dressed?
Gossiping about the Herdmans.
That's right. I saw it as I was leaving the choir. Those juveniles and delinquents showed up.
Well, it must be Grace's fault somehow. How could 6 of them end up in the Christmas pageant when they ought to be in jail?
I
hope no one tells Mrs. Armstrong, or she'll just hobble away back to the pageant.
Better nail down the church, lock up the silver, and hide all of the collection plates.
Yeah, they'll probably steal the gold, frankincense, and fur.
That's myrrh, not fur.
Everyone was talking about what a disaster the Christmas pageant was going to be this year. But my mother was determined to make the best of it. She was determined that there were not going to be any problems, and it was going to be the best Christmas pageant ever, and she was going to do it with the Herdmans. My dad even supported her.
That's right, I support your mother. If anyone can make this pageant work, it's your mother.
You've got lines.
Go back in, right? Yeah.
I want to be in this thing. I'd rather do Elf on a Shelf. I'd rather have a Christmas story or Elf on a Shelf. I don't want to do this. Wouldn't you rather do Elf on a Shelf? I don't want to do this.
Children, break is over. Pay attention. Time to get back to rehearsal now.
Okay, the inn is back here off stage. The shepherds come in and gather around the manger. Tallest to smallest going towards the manger. Half on the left and half on the right.
Where'd all the shepherds come from anyway?
And what's an inn? It's like a motel where people go to spend the night.
Like what people? Like Jesus? Oh, honestly, Jesus wasn't even born yet. It was Mary and Joseph that went there.
Why?
To pay taxes.
Okay, I think everybody just needs to shut up.
That's my part. Quiet down, everybody. You're just too chattery.
I want to hear her. Start at the beginning.
The beginning?
Beginning of the play. The beginning of the whole story of Jesus.
Imogene, this is the Christmas story from the Bible. Haven't you ever heard the Christmas story from the Bible? Well, that's what the Christmas pageant is. So I better have Mrs. Kearns read it to you.
I couldn't believe that. They had never heard the Christmas story. They didn't even know what a Bible was. And they never went to church in their whole life until my brother told them we got refreshments.
All right now. There went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that the world should be taxed. And Joseph came up from Galilee with Mary his wife, great with child.
Pregnant.
Okay, that's enough. We all know that Mary was pregnant.
I don't think your mother should say Mary was pregnant. She should have said Mary is great with child. I'm not supposed to talk about people who are pregnant, especially in church.
So she wrapped him in swaddling cloth and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn.
No room for Jesus.
Well, nobody knew it was going to be Jesus.
Well, why didn't somebody tell them? Didn't Mary know? Didn't Joe know? Heck, Joe should have told them that she had to be in a bed in the inn. It was her pregnant and everything.
What's a manger? Some sort of bed?
Well, they didn't have a bed in the barn, so they had to use something else. So they used a feeding trough that they used for the animals.
We put Gladys in a bureau drawer.
Now what's
wadded up clothes.
What?
Wadded up clothes. It says in there that she wrapped them in wadded up clothes.
No, that's swaddling clothes. Back then, people would take big pieces of material and wrap the baby very tight so it would be cozy.
So they tied up baby Jesus in rags and threw him in a feed box. Where was the child welfare?
Yeah, the child welfare is at our house every 5 minutes. Say what,
There was no child welfare in Bethlehem.
Okay.
Oh, children, please. Child welfare?
And there were shepherds keeping watch over their flocks by night, and the angel of the Lord, and the glory.
Shazam!
What?
Shazam!
What?
Out of the black of night with vengeance, the mighty Marvo.
I don't know what you're talking about, Gladys.
The amazing comics, the mighty Marvo. Shazam!
No, this is the angel of the Lord that comes to the shepherds.
Out of nowhere, right? Out of the black of the night, right?
Well, in a way, yeah.
Shazam!
Now, when Jesus was born, there came wise men from the east, bearing gifts of gold, frankincense,
That's us.
and myrrh.
Merv?
Who's Merv?
No, it's not a who. They were special things, like spices and special oils.
Well, it's about time somebody important showed up, but what kind of a present is oil?
Were the wise men some sort of welfare? Were they the welfare?
They were kings that were sent.
Well, since they're kings, they must be important. And they can get that baby out of the barn and tell that innkeeper to where he can get off.
No. They were sent by Herod. Herod was the main king, and he wanted to find Jesus and put him to death.
Kill a baby? Well, he was just born. Wow.
Who's Herod in this play?
Herod isn't in the play.
Well, somebody.
He isn't in the play.
Somebody.
He's gonna kill the baby.
That's right. Somebody needs to be Herod. Let Charlie be Herod. He can be Herod, and he can come and try to kill the baby, and then he'll say, "Go get me that little baby," and they say, "Okay," because he's the big king and all.
I'm not going to be Herod.
No one's going to be Herod.
Well, I think he needs to be Herod.
Hush. Zip it. Shut those yappers.
Well,
No! Joseph.
come on, Ralph. Joe.
He needs to get the shepherds, and then the shepherds can go after Herod and take him out.
They're going to put one in. It's going to be me, and I'm going to be killed.
Forget about Herod.
No, I'm going to grab the baby because I'm the baby's mama, and I'm going to run until the fight's over.
And somebody ought to kill the innkeeper. Gladys, you bashed the innkeeper.
Are we done?
Okay, rehearsal is over.
Thank goodness. I'm telling you.
Holy moly.
Now you got
What has my mother gotten herself into? And on top of all this, baby Jesus quit the play. It was supposed to be Eugene Slocum, but Mrs. Slocum said she wasn't going to let Imogene Herdman get her hands on her baby. So we don't have a baby Jesus. And my mom is really, really upset. Now, I'm sure she and Mrs. Kearns will figure something out. I guess they could use a doll to be baby Jesus. To tell you a secret, I've been keeping a diary, and it's all about the Herdmans. Imogene curses and swears all the time. Ralph talks about girls. Gladys Herdman drinks communion wine. It isn't really wine, it's grape juice, but still. And Imogene Herdman sits in her Mary costume smoking cigars. And it was those cigars that led to the nightmare dress rehearsal. It was a disaster. The fire department had to come because Mrs. King thought there was a fire in the bathroom due to all the cigar smoke. The church was full of firemen, and the street was full of baby angels crying and shepherds climbing all over the fire truck and half the neighborhood. One of the Herdmans jumped on a fireman's back to get a piggyback ride. The papier-mâché barn fell apart, and there was no fire in the girls' bathroom after all. The fire came from the kitchen, where the ladies of the church were making food for the potluck. After the disaster of a dress rehearsal, Reverend Hopkins called my mom to tell her the whole church was in an uproar.
Jesus said, let the children come to me. But I'm not sure what he meant to herdsmen. Grace, you think we should cancel the pageant?
No, this is going to be the best Christmas pageant ever.
So they didn't cancel the pageant.
I'm not sure that everyone will come to see the pageant.
I didn't think anyone would come see the pageant either, and neither did Charlie. But we were wrong. On Christmas Eve, the church was jammed full. Everyone came to see what the Herdmans would do.
And I'll be praying that everything goes well.
We were all praying.
After all, Christmas is about miracles. Good afternoon, and Merry Christmas. Please enjoy our annual Christmas pageant. This year, it is directed by Mrs. Grace Bradley.
Silent stars go
In the days of Caesar Augustus, a decree went out to all the world that they should be taxed. And Joseph went into Bethlehem with his wife Mary, who was great with child. And while they were there, she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. There were shepherds in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And the angel of the Lord appeared to them. And the angel of the Lord appeared to them. And the glory of the Lord shone around about. And they were so afraid when the angel of the Lord appeared to them. Hey! Hey!
Auntie,
Yeah.
what child is born? It's Jesus. He's in the barn. Come on, go see him. Go.
And suddenly there was a multitude of the heavenly host, saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and peace to all people on earth." When Jesus was born, there came wise men from the east to worship him, bringing gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of night.
What's that Leroy's got?
Royal beauty bright.
I think it's a ham.
Leading still proceed.
It's the ham from their welfare basket. It's the only thing they ever gave away in their whole entire lives. A ham.
They found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up these things and pondered them in her heart.
Silent night, yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly
After the pageant was over, people were saying it was the best Christmas pageant they ever had.
Could you believe that was Emma Jean Herdman and all of the rest of them? This was the best Christmas pageant ever. And I'm not sure why, but I think, could it be them?
Well, I always get weepy over the Christmas pageant. You know, the carols and the kids and all of those things. But you're right. It was the best Christmas pageant ever. And it should have been the worst.
I just wish now I would have let Imogen have Eugene to be the baby Jesus.
It was the best Christmas pageant ever. It wasn't because of the direction or the costumes or the set. It wasn't because the kids were well behaved or that the angel of the Lord had a lot of spunk. It wasn't because the wise men brought food, a holiday ham for the Holy Family. It was a whole new story. It seemed real, as if it might have actually happened just that way. And it was because of the Herdmans.
Hey, hey, unto you and you and you a child is born.
He rules the world with